Hey guys, welcome back to Ultimate S&S. I hope everyone's been having a great week. We are now, I believe, Saturday. Anyway, I wanted to come and show you some of these articles I found, and one of these is from 2017 that's saying in 2023, which is next year, that the food shortage is going to be so bad that we're not going to be able to feed most of the world. So I thought it was interesting that this was published back, roughly, I'm going to say about 5 years ago or so. So let's check that out. So on top of that, we're seeing more articles coming at us talking about how the food's going to basically not be as readily available, mainly because of the issues that they were seeing back then. That if something wasn't done, which is basically fertilizer issues and helping farmers and stuff like that, that we were going to be having these food shortages around the world and in this country as well. And I think it's interesting also that Bill Gates, for those who don't know who that is, I believe most of us know who Bill Gates is. But anyway, he is now buying up farmland like it's going out of style. It's a hot commodity, but he's not actually producing any food or having any staffing there producing food. Why would that be? Well, anytime you start watching these big moguls with a lot of money and stuff buying stuff up, it's because they're trying to get a hold on a commodity or a type of market, which I believe is what's happening here. Now, he does have a lot of influence and a lot of money put into these bio labs that people are talking about. They're going to be growing these lab cultured meats and stuff like that. So maybe that's something he's trying to trim the market out so he can get that kicked off. But understand, it's not just about trying to bring in a new specific type of a product. This is just so he has a power grab where he himself is holding a lot of land that is now, was farmland, but now it's just his own personal, I guess, vacation type stuff. So here are those headlines, guys. It's not the first time we've seen groups or even individuals come in and basically rally a market just to themselves. We've seen that with Monsanto. For those who don't realize, George Soros owns that. He's the guy that has the big pallets of bricks dropped off at their peaceful protests that they do all the time and all that kind of stuff. But the issue is they're basically cornering the market on the food that's only going to be for the wealthy. So you've got to figure out what it is you're going to do. Now, when you're looking at Monsanto, if you're growing, your own farm and some of his pollen happens to pollinate your crops, understand some pollen is wind driven, and then bees will go anywhere. But if they find some of the DNA structure or whatever genetic structure of those Monsanto plants in your actual garden that you're growing, they will come in and they will burn the crops. Now, that's not just talking about small individual backyard farmer. That's talking about your large farms. They watch that stuff and they will destroy your crops if any of his stuff gets in it, which is kind of wrong in my opinion. But the main thing about this video, guys, is you want to make sure that you're getting your food set back. You want to be working on your sustainability project. If you're not buying food, and I understand people have bills and things like that they have to deal with. But you need to look at what it is in your life that maybe you can live without. So I think most phone services come with the internet. So is it really, does it really need to go buy internet for the home and your phone already has it anyway? How often do you actually get on that? Not just that, but there's so many different things that you can cut out. Like, for instance, bingo. I mean, I don't think anybody really goes bingo much anymore, but there might be. It's still a big commodity down here in Florida. And while most people enjoy going, there are a lot of people that waste a lot of money at it, and that's money that you could be putting into your food preps and stuff. So you need to be looking at areas in your life that you can save money on, because if you're not getting food and you're not getting stocked up, you're not getting your supplies, then you're going to have a lot of issues. I mean, we're already seeing, when we talk about empty shelves, we're not just talking about shelves that are completely empty and completely barren. We're talking about when you go in and an area might have 2 or 3 items on it, or quite a bit reduction in the amount of food that is available. And that is a real deal at the stores down here. Now, there are a couple of stores that are going to be opening up here pretty soon. I'm hoping to get and check out. We'll go see what they look like. One of them is an Aldi. They've opened up over in one part of town. They're building another one in another section of town. So I'm going to make the drive over tomorrow just to kind of see what they have over there, because it might be worth checking out for price wise, but also maybe to have a little bit different supply or something locally. I don't know. We're going to have to go and check it out. But always check the different stores in your area, different grocery stores and stuff, because you never really know what they're getting in and where they're getting their products from. When you have these smaller chain stores that's starting to open, they have more of a direct line a lot of times to some of your local farmers and stuff. And I would recommend that you do whatever you can to help support those people, because they're the ones that are going to be keeping the food coming in. As you can see, these larger industries and stuff, they don't care about you, don't care about me, they don't care about keeping those shelves full. If they can keep a little bit of food off the shelf, they can continue to drive the price up. So there's always the the commenter who's like, well, we're not running out of food down where they're at, and that's great. Make no mistake, you will eventually start seeing the shortages. But one of the issues that I see down here is the state voted in a $16 minimum wage, which takes place, I believe it's next year or the year after, but they're going up periodically to get that wage up. And in conjunction with that, just as we had said, on a economy that's already really freaking hard to live in down this way, you're seeing the prices rise up, and not just to keep it even to what it was, but it's catching over, it's overriding what it used to be. So now, where people, I think that their minimum wage is around 11 or 12 right now in this area, it's more conductive to a $16 an hour wage. And then with the current inflation stuff, you're going to see that raise up to where you're still not going to be able to afford to get anything. These people have a mentality of, well, I need to get more pay for my work. But having worked with a lot of the people down here, some of the laziest workers, in my opinion, I have ever worked with are in the state of Florida. They are too involved with their cell phones, too involved with personal matters when they're at work. They have their friends come hang out at the workplace, stuff like that. Things that just really aren't really, you shouldn't be doing. But it's hard to find good labor down here. And one of the things that we're reading in the articles is why the Democrats are allowing so many people to come across the borders, because they're trying to fill a labor shortage. That's not going to fill a labor shortage, folks. There's actually laws in place to prevent people from being able to work if you can't provide, the proper work documentation and stuff. And while some people see that as an overreach, I actually agree with it, because it does protect the American way of life. But with this administration we have, we're going to have to really think some things through. But again, guys, make sure you're getting stocked up. Hurricane season coming in, guys. We're tracking a storm coming across the Atlantic right now. It has not fully developed into anything. As it develops, they're expecting within the next 48 to 52 hours, this thing should start developing. I'll be trying to give more updates about that, especially for those of us here in the Gulf Coast along the Atlantic side, the eastern seaboard, because we need to keep an eye on that. You want to make sure that if you've got something inbound, if you're planning on riding out the storm, make sure you got plenty of water set back. Fill up your tubs, fill up jugs, whatever you can do. You can buy them camping jugs and stuff. People are like, well, don't fill old milk jugs and stuff like that. You can get old water jugs and stuff from Walmart pretty cheap, if you can even find them anymore. This time of the year right now, let me tell you something. If you are not at least, stocked up on containers to hold water, you're going to have a very hard time to get water stocked up, because everyone is running out right now and they are getting prepared for these storms. This is storm season for us here in Florida. So get water stockpiled, set back some food. The cans are great. Try to get some of those vacuum sealed Mylar containers that they have. They sell that stuff at the stores as well. You can even check the camping aisles, and those packs will feed a family of 3 for a day type of stuff. But make sure that you have something set back. I would recommend getting basic first aid kit stuff. The reason I say that is because you could be thinking, okay, well, it's not going to be a big storm, it's going to miss, and then it hits just like Michael did, and maybe you're injured and the medical resources can't get to you in time. Well, you can help. If you have some basic first aid knowledge, you can help yourselves, you can help your family. And I would highly recommend, if you don't have that knowledge, you need to be finding out what you can. They have first aid books and stuff at the libraries, so be checking that kind of stuff out as well. So anyway, everyone have a great day. Make sure you are getting prepared, because storm season is coming in and it looks like it's kicking off really strong. We just had one that hit northern Mexico, south of Texas, and that's bringing rain that they needed, which is good for them. But the way that the weather has been, they're expecting these next few storms coming across the East Coast to actually be, or come across the Atlantic toward the East Coast to be severe, like 3 or higher on the hurricane scales, guys. So be prepared. Make sure you're ready.